everyone, so today's video is pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of see what I'm doing. At the moment I'm just applying a little bit more of a lighter foundation just to make my skin slightly lighter, but I didn't want to go for anything too pale because I wanted to make it sort of as realistic as possible, but you can do what you want, go as pale as you want if you would like. So as you could just see, I was just holding up some lash glue because you can use that for this step if you want, or use any latex. You can get that at any Halloween store at the moment or online, so I'll link that down below. So I'm just applying that in places where I want to create like a cut or a little bit of, you know, maybe like a zombie infection sort of thing, you know, just play around with it. I had a look at some sort of like zombie reference pictures and some bruising as well. So what you want to do is have a look at, you know, like a regular bruise and those sort of colours. So you want to go for some warmer browns, some yellow tones, and I'm just applying that sort of around the face, so underneath my eyes to create that really tired look, and just around anywhere you want. It's kind of like your own thing. You don't have to copy exactly what I do, you can just take inspiration from it. So I'm just doing that whilst I let the latex dry a little bit. So you can see now I'm going in with a matte yellow. So just remember, you want to go in with matte shades if you are using eyeshadows, because that's going to look as realistic as possible. You can use face paints if you want, just make sure you use it quite lightly and build it up. So I'm using a fluffy brush to this to really buff out the edges. And now to create shadows on my face, I'm using a cooler brown, so it's going to look as natural as possible, putting it in the natural hollows of the cheeks. So you can see here I'm following the natural shape of my cheek just by sucking it in slightly. I'm following that line all the way down to really accentuate the hollows, you know, as if you were losing weight or whatever. So you can kind of create like a storyline behind a zombie. This one I kind of thought is at the first few stages, you know, I'm not quite dead yet, but I've just been infected sort of thing. You know, you could go crazy if you wanted. So you can see I'm bringing it in slightly, a little bit further than normal. So you can see it's creating a really sort of dark shadow. You can get away with going a little bit crazier on Halloween, and also putting that in the natural hollows at the sides of the forehead as well, and also down the sides of the nose to create a shadow there as well. Little duck face there. Yeah, I thought I wasn't recording. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm using the end of my brush to sort of scrape the areas of the latex, and that will create a little bit of texture, and it will pull apart the latex, and it will create sort of holes. Yep, nice face there, Hannah. You can use tweezers if you want, but you can see there it's created holes on top of the latex, and it almost looks like an infection or like a graze, that sort of thing. So now I'm going in with a sort of burgundy shade, and I'm using that right underneath the eyes to make that sort of tired look, and buffing that all the way around as well. You do not have to be neat with this, like I said before, it is really self-explanatory, so just have fun with it, go crazy if you want, you know, do what you will. I'm also putting that burgundy shade around those latex edges as well to make it look a little bit sore. So it almost kind of looks a little bit like a bruised victim, like I've been beaten up. But, you know, you just want to look gory and all beaten and dead, basically. I just added a little bit of that yellow around the latex to make it look a little bit sort of infected, and used a cream red face paint on that as well. and your fingers is a really good tool to sort of like dab it in and make it look as real as possible, you know, if it can. But I pop that in the inside of the lip to create that sort of bitten look as well. You can use like red lipstick or anything like that, just kind of use what you have at home as well. I'm just going back over the hollows of the cheeks just to really buff it out and create a nice sunken in look as well. So you can see here I'm just adding a little bit of black face paint just in the inner lip, just to make it look a little bit more sort of like a bit more depth basically. With a smaller brush and a darker shadow, I just wanted to add a little bit more into the natural bags of the eye, just to really accentuate that tiredness. So like I was doing with the cheeks, I'm just creating more shadow on the hollows of my neck. So you can do that anywhere on your body. Create a shadow where you have natural hollows to really accentuate it and make it look like, you know, you're really skinny or whatever. So you'll see in a second I do that on my collarbone and on the neck area as well, and I'm not naked. So it just kind of adds a nice bit of shadow, and I use a cooler brown for this, or more of a grey, just so it looks a bit more natural, and it also looks a little bit like dirty, like you rolled in mud as well. So using any purpley lipstick or face paint with a thin brush, I'm creating veins on the forehead and around the face as well. Just sort of like broken veins, you know, like I said, like I was being infected. I don't know, I just felt like it really, but like I said before, just kind of have a play with it and do what you feel looks best. So you can see I've done it on the cheek area and just coming off from the lip. That is it really. Sometimes I think with these type of looks, less is more. Like I could have stopped, you know, before the veins or whatever, but just have fun with it and kind of maybe practice beforehand if you have time. But then again, this is a really quick and easy look. It doesn't take much skill either, so anyone can recreate it. So what I'm doing now, I'm just adding a little bit of Vaseline just over those bruised sort of areas and around those cuts, as it makes it look a little bit more like skin. You don't have to do this, but I just feel like it makes the product blend in a little bit better as well. But just bear this in mind, as it will move slightly because it does make it a little bit more like a cream. So all you kind of have to do is add a little bit of blood. Spray blood is really handy because you can sort of spritz it all over and use it closely as well, as you see me do in a second. And I also add a little bit of thicker blood like in the mouth. This is really good stage blood because it does stay put. And you can also eat it as well. It wasn't that nice, so I just put that at the sides of the mouth. But like I said, put it anywhere you want, go crazy with it, and have a good Halloween. So I'll see you next time. Bye! Bye! Yummy. I eat meat. I eat human meat. You like that? See ya.